What's up, guys? Oh, Sheeples. Sorry, every time.
Hard
Uh,
bar. That,
but I know. I
oh
really,
yeah, sorry.
really need to
For
wrap my
my
head.
non-Indian listeners, that means every time. We're
Yeah,
trying to get used to not
saying
saying,
Sheeples. Yeah,
not,
and
yeah, not saying guys, because, well,
yeah,
it's a little sexist because there are also female listeners in the room.
yeah.
But more than anything, we're all sheeples before we are
Yep, we're all
men.
Sheeples for sure.
Yeah,
But
right.
before everything, I should kind of introduce myself, right? So for today, since I am the guy with no name and I change my name every time, haha. I am gonna be named Foodie Forever today. Haha. That's a nice
Whoa,
one.
whoa, whoa. Foodie forever.
Foodie Forever.
Hi guys, this is Z, and I'm that boring character. Same name every episode. So yes, hello. And today I thought we'd talk about something that is a little more relevant to me,
Yeah.
and that is food. But
Yep.
we're not going to take the discussion in the general way. We were talking about foodgasms and food porns and what food we love in general.
I mean, I would love to talk about it, but I think this one
Yeah,
is
maybe
the
if that comes in later on by
yeah,
itself.
yeah.
But what we really want to talk about this time is this intense amount of confusion that's just surrounding food, you know.
Oh yeah.
And when I say confusion, I mean more like internal struggles.
Mhm.
And as somebody who was born a vegetarian and then turned a non-vegetarian and then became an eggetarian and was a freaking pescatarian and was a vegan till a while ago, I realize now
Oh
in
my God.
retrospect how silly all of these are. I'm sorry if you identify these buckets, but I'm here to talk about how I honestly feel so stupid for
I
trying
mean,
like what
you've really gone through a journey with food, haven't you? Like,
yeah, dude. Wait, what the fuck is vegetarian? Like,
can I just
whoa.
ask you why? Like, what was your reasoning behind like just changing so much? Like, did you have a reason, or was it just you know
Well, to be honest,
going for it?
my strongest reason is that I'm an overthinker. I really like to freaking over intellectualize everything I'm doing. I think it's just this little annoying part inside of us that doesn't want us to be at peace. Just keeps questioning everything we do. And the other thing is that I sort of work with stray animals. I work with indies. I work with dogs and cats majorly that stay on the streets. And that's sort of
Oh yeah, just saying, guys. Like, oh, sheeples again. Sorry. See, I really need to get a hang of that. And, but
you will. Don't worry. It's only our
Z
ninth
really
podcast.
really does like work a lot for these stray animals in general. From what I have seen specifically, like even when we used to go to college, or there used to be strays outside of college that Z used to genuinely bring food for, like homemade food, or at times like he'll buy special like treats for these strays so that they can live a healthier life. And he also helped like a cat who was injured get better, like to get better and all those kind of things. So it's amazing to see how much like this person really wants to help these
I just
like
have a
animals in
retarded
general.
smug smile on my face right now. I'm like, hmm.
No, but I mean, as much as you like I'm praising it, is the truth, and there's no lie in whatever I just said. So that's amazing to see happen. Like it's more than what any of us do in general. Like there are only a few people who do it, and I think you're one of those who actually like take that effort. So hey, props to you,
I
man.
really don't know how to reply to that, but thank you. Without sounding more obnoxious, I guess the idea here is to sort of live for something that is not you
Mhm.
in whatever way you can try to. I mean, if you adopt a tree and water it every day, I think that's good. But the idea is to, I think, look at things that you wouldn't normally care for and try to. Now, without without going too much into that
But that aspect aside, yes, we were
kashi
talking
bashi
about
angle.
food.
Yeah, so the
So
idea was
yeah,
that while I was eating meat, I would often go and feed these animals the bones and whatever, and then they used to happily gobble it up.
yeah,
And then slowly I started becoming part of this small little fraternity of people that were into rescuing and feeding and all of that
hmm
jazz.
hmm
And then I started realizing this was when I was eating meat, and I started realizing of how my behavior was so biased towards cats and dogs. But when it
yeah.
comes to things like chicken and fish, well, I just sort of I've assumed that those
You
are
didn't
for
care.
eating purposes and they don't have any.
You just didn't
So
care.
yeah, I just didn't give a fuck. And
Yeah.
then, so that roller coaster sort of got me to this point here where I really have a tough time identifying with what I am. So finally decided to really tell people that I freaking love chicken, but I don't eat chicken
But wait,
because
but you did say like you started off as a vegetarian or you were born vegetarian. So
yeah.
why non-vegetarian?
So I was born into a vegetarian family, and I think with all things that are the forbidden fruit, you're attracted towards them.
Hmm.
Uh, I was a little bit of a iconoclast right from the beginning. I wanted to just stride aside all of these values and customs and all of that things that you inherit into when you're born into a family. So obviously, because I was told to be vegetarian, I had to experiment with chicken.
Of course,
And for
the rebel you
yes,
were.
and for everybody who's eaten chicken out there, chicken is the best thing in the whole world. Like, oh my God,
I
like,
mean, I wouldn't know.
yeah,
I personally, I'm a vegetarian. Been
yeah,
a vegetarian for all my life, so
all
I've
right.
not I've not experienced that aspect at all. Um,
Yep, yep,
so I can't be one to say like I've been the amount of people like just tell me, oh, you should try this or try that. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm happy eating
Paneer
my
sandwich ki
vegetarian.
खा जा, just like,
हाँ,
ठीक है,
मतलब
it's,
पनीर ही
yeah,
अरे I'm happy eating what I have. Yeah. It's fine. You can chill
yeah.
out.
It's like those people at the party, right, who are great at dancing, and then dancing. So you're by the bar and you're like, yeah, no, I'm good. And they're like,
I'm
no, no, you
I'm
have to dance. Come make a fool of yourself.
I'm thinking
And
of
I'm
two
like,
very
wait.
specific people right now, and those two know who they are. So
Yeah, you know who you are.
yeah.
I don't know who you are, but I think you
But
know.
anyway, yeah. So
Okay.
like getting
You
back
know who is
to
in this on this list, obviously. Voldemort, no, we're not talking about it.
yeah, we aren't
Then,
talking about Voldy. It's okay.
yeah.
Voldy is Voldy. That's
Mr. Potter.
Mr. Potter.
Mr.
Let
Potter.
me just touch your head. Okay.
Oh my god, Harry
Okay.
Potter has to find. Okay, guys.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay,
we've been straying away from this. We are strays
yeah.
ourselves. Haha.
But Sheeples, yes. Sheeples, yes, we are strays. And yes, Sheeples, there is a podcast coming on Harry Potter soon. And you
Yeah,
know it. You
oh,
fucking know
wait
it.
for it. Wait for it.
You gotta wait for it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there is this annoying part. I mean, I can understand why Mr. Foodie
Uh,
here hasn't
yeah.
eaten a lot of chicken. When I can understand the peer pressure because just like you have these awesome dancers who are forcing everybody to dance at a party, you also have this class of meat eaters who will try to sort of flex their meat eating skills and tell all vegetarians that hey, come on, you should. And the vegetarian's like, oh, well, no, I'm happy with what I've got here. And they're like, come on, till you don't taste it, you wouldn't know. So yeah, we have people who really like to force their ideas upon
Yeah.
others, and that's a different thing altogether. But I think the meat of the matter here is, like pun intended,
I was
is
about to say like pun intended.
is that I think these classifications are super silly. Like having lived through those classifications, like let me just illustrate by a simple example, right?
Hmm.
And I was humbled. This was something that didn't dawn upon me until I was debating somebody, and then they sort of
And
burnt
this is
me
why
on
you
this.
came back to vegetarian
Dude, you
in
know what?
society.
Actually, I find these labels incredibly. I just
Um,
like you. I am a foodie now. I want to begin this path where I can be a vegetarian some days and eat meat some days and not eat meat some days and just not fit into a label. I think I'm moving more towards that kind of philosophy where
yeah.
I don't know, it's going to sound stupid, but you're on a seafood diet, right? You see food,
Hmm.
you eat it. Like you want to you
But
you
I
see
mean,
food, you
yeah,
eat it.
I think that's actually a good point that you make here is that
Yeah.
why label ourselves as like, oh,
Yeah, right.
it's
And
just this or
there's
this or
guilt.
that.
Like just I'll give you an example, right?
But like before
You've
we
never
move on,
huh.
you gotta mention the quote that made you vegetarian again, or rather
Oh
that
yeah.
label that you put on
Oh
that
yeah.
you don't want to
I
put on.
gotta tell you what really happened
Yeah.
that changed. So, I was vegan. I identified with the word vegan about six to
Right.
8 months ago, and we've spoken about this, my experiments with veganism.
Right.
And I was not too happy doing it, but in my head, I'm like, hey, you know what? It's for a nobler cause. I'm saving
Mhm.
cows, blah blah blah, all that jazz. It's no disrespect. It's the truth. I was probably saving cows, but that's what happened, right? I was talking to a friend of mine who's like a voracious meat eater, and
Uh-huh.
by this time, I don't really, I had stopped debating with people because I felt it was extremely rude to try to enforce your philosophy. So he's the one who actually started the discussion, and then I got in the game, and I told him, hey, you know what? This is right, this is wrong, and he looked at me with some derision, and he said, really? You freaking grow wheat in a plot of land. It's practically caged. You are feeding it with all your pesticides and you're giving it controlled amounts of water. You're controlling every aspect of it. And then
Right.
you cut that wheat at the end of a few months or rice and you eat it. And
You
isn't
basically eat that wheat.
eat that wheat? Yeah.
Yeet, yeet.
Eat that wheat. Sorry for being insensitive, but
I
yeah.
didn't know this. The yeet is a word. It's a thing. It's anyway.
Whoa,
Let it
wait,
be. Let
okay.
it be. Let it be.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Jokes
It's
explained.
you.
That's a different
You.
subreddit.
You went into another place. Let it be.
Yeah, let it be, let it be. Otherwise, you're gonna have to edit this part. And yes,
Nah, nah,
no.
nah.
So yeah, so all he said was that you eat meat and you eat wheat. There's ah, what's happening with my addiction? You screwed it for me. Okay, I'm going to use a different example. You eat meat versus you eat rice, and he tried to tell me that they aren't really different because both of them are life forms. Both of them are being killed, so you can eat them and sustain yourself. And just because a cow looks bigger and humans understand the cow more, at least its emotional cues, and we seem to attach these certain tendon characteristics and traits to the cow, and we don't do them to the rice plant, doesn't make the cow any better off or worse off to eat. And you know what? I didn't really have a reply for that. And it's since that day I started figuring out that if I to go down that road too, I would stop eating plants as well. I would stop breathing because there are microorganisms in the air, and then eventually I would just die. And I don't want that, right? Because I want to live and make this kick-ass podcast. So I have to definitely eat
Not just this
something.
podcast. We are making a community, boy.
We're making a community,
Community,
people.
boy. But anyway, um,
Yeah. So
yeah, no,
the
you're
point
right.
is,
I kind of see what you mean. Um,
yeah, now
like,
just tell you where I am right now. I
yeah,
basically I don't have a path to follow. I
right.
don't think eating wheat is right or wrong. I don't think eating fish or chicken or beef or pork is right or wrong.
And
I'm
that's
just
why you
very
come to the maple
lost.
part, right? Like that's why you don't want to
Yeah,
eat.
and I'm very lost. I mean, I suddenly don't seem to know in my food habits and preferences if there is anything right or anything wrong. Yeah, it's a little confusing now. Well,
Pardon.
what about
I
you?
think I think your voice just cut out for a moment. Can you just repeat that?
No, all I said is that I'm at this place right now where I'm completely lost in terms of reasoning. I really
Uh,
don't have any kind of ethical marker on the inside that's
right,
pointing me towards this is right and this is wrong. So I'm pretty lost. And I'm really contemplating eating anything and everything that I feel like.
right.
But I don't know, man. Do things like these keep you up? Or do you overthink your
Um,
food?
I think food is so. Here's the thing. I love eating. So food
Did you say
like
you love
you.
eating?
What, yeah, I love
It
eat
sounded
food.
like, wait, but that's a
No, no, no,
different
no, no.
podcast.
That's a very different point.
That's a different podcast.
No, I love eating food in
Guys, tune
general.
in after your parents are asleep at 11
Yeah,
p.m. That's podcast.
it's that time of the night. Like it just
Dude,
feels
remember
cozy.
back when Cartoon Network would switch off at 12 and some
Oh,
weird
oh my god.
channel?
Yeah, I remember. I don't know why. I for once I wanted to know like what the hell
Yeah,
comes on, and I'm like, this is not interesting. This just seems dumb and boring, and I
yeah,
just switched it off after. It was some like black and white stuff that was coming or
yeah,
something
yeah, yeah. Someone
like
like
that.
see WNN or
Yeah. Something was there, but like it. Yeah, see, Cartoon Network used to change to some random shit. But anyway,
yep.
that aside, like in general with food, I think I what I've been eating, I never really overthought about like, oh, I want to try non-vegetarian or well, like I love what I eat and I want to try everything in what I have in vegetarian because I think I've grown up in that household, so my mind never really thought about eating like or trying out the non-vegetarian aspect because they were like my brain already thinks about 10 different things anyways half the time. I mean, I can't keep a conversation going properly. I don't know how I'm running this podcast with you, but but
That's ironical. But do you ever think
yeah,
about the fact how non-vegetarian is such a fucking lazy word?
yeah. Yeah, you just put the non before the
That's
vegetarian.
so lame. You
Yeah,
just made it binary.
yeah.
Wow,
No,
that's
but
weird.
honestly, like I've never had that urge to have it. I've been told like you should try it or it's amazing, and whoever has it like can't stop having it. But I just never get that urge, man, and I don't know why. It's just like it's fine. I guess it comes to that point of like you don't. It's whatever you want to put into your body, whatever you want to eat. It's up to you, right? Like you said, to label what we want to eat. Like if you want to just eat vegetarian, just have it. Why do you have to say like no, no? I mean, there's no way I have anything else. Like it's just that I like it. So fair enough, right? I think it stays to that. Why force someone to have stuff like just for the fact that you think it's good, so they also should have it, kind of thing. Like if they like something, yes,
Yeah, I
experimenting
mean,
is good.
wouldn't it be so cool? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know if this sounds utopian, but like it would be so cool if person A, who's, let's say, for the lack of a better word, a vegetarian, is sitting on his side of the table and eating his vegetarian thing,
mm,
and then person B on the other side has, let's say, he's eating beef, and
yeah.
both are okay with it. Like those are such pleasant
I mean, I think that
scenarios.
with friends and all, I think now since everybody has different preferences, they do like eat together. Like I sit with a lot of my friends who are non-vegetarians, and we sit at the same table eating like
That's so
our
cool,
own
man.
thing.
Kudos
And
to you, buddy.
we don't stop each other. The only thing is like I think I mean yeah, trying out different food is good and experiment. That's how you come up with different combinations and all those kind of things, and get to know like what you like and don't like. But at times you also have your particular restrictions of wants and or dislikes and likes that you want to follow, right? And I don't know, like I don't know
Again, it
why.
comes down to whether you want to or you don't want to. You don't really have to. I mean, I hate the fact when people pester you into giving them a reason, and I think
Yeah,
that's the annoying part, right? If you sitting out there for all your life have just eaten vegetarian food, and one of those
yeah,
guy, and then the next part of your life you don't want to eat again, you shouldn't have to get pestered like, hey, you know what, you
yeah,
ate it that one time
yeah.
again.
I mean, I see. That's the thing, right? Like, just trying it out once is. I mean, if you want to go for it, right? Like, but if you want to follow a particular dietary thing, I mean, for me, I would love to have all kinds of combinations in vegetarian food. I don't mind that. Like, I'm not gonna stop myself from having all that because why not, right? Like, let's try stuff out. But it's just that I mean, personally, I'm just not interested in that. But for you, like, that's why like I think your label thing is really, really like interesting to think about, because why do we need to label something like we are this or we are that? Like we can have things we like, things we don't like, and stay with that, right? One day we want to be this, one day we want to eat something, we can be that.
Exactly. I mean, it should really be up to each and every person's free will, man. And I don't think anyone should get to arm wrestle you around. Like, I mean, I'm glad that if I ever sat next to you, wow,
Sit in,
suddenly, kitten,
sit in with the
mitten,
kitten, yeah.
like, what the fuck? No, but like just the fact that people don't force each other, and but if you go out there today on the digital world, there are so many different types of content, and there are so many different type of food habits, and people who have their own strong takes on it. Like really, I know people who are really vocal about being vegan, and
Yeah,
which is great. But I also know a lot of people who really try to like
force this aspect of being
convert.
vegan to others,
Yeah,
yeah.
they and you know what, I've been one of those people, so I count myself in there. In retrospect, I look back and I'm like, wow, I was so dumb, because I think deep down you really need to respect someone's free will, and just eat what you got to eat, man. I mean, if you want to become an activist out there who's trying to change the world, maybe then that's a different life path that you've chosen. But I think if you're just a casual person, and then you're out there, and follow any kind of dietary preference, you know what? If you enjoy what you're doing, great. If you see somebody taking a different path, just let
Yeah,
them be, man. And
you
if
know,
they ever,
one of those things like I really think about in this matter is especially when it comes to veganism, I understand why. But and what we really need to fight about, even for non-vegetarians when it comes to it, right, is like the way they treat the way they treat the animal and livestock before, like actually like making the cuts of meat from them and all those kind of things. Because I think one of the reasons you might have turned vegan, or quite a lot of people do turn vegan, is through watching those documentaries about how these animals are treated, especially in these farms, and like how cows are like
Oh yeah, that
not
was definitely one of those reasons why. And
yeah,
that imagery is fucking really powerful, man. Like I
yeah,
remember seeing a video, and if you're like a little weak of heart and you love dogs, please skip the next
mhm.
20 seconds. I remember seeing this video where there were people in China who were fucking killing dogs with a bat
Oh my god.
and using their skin to make fake leather.
Oh,
Um,
why?
and if you're out there and you use leather, I'm really struggling to say all the more power to you, but it really saddens my heart
Yeah.
that something that comes out of misery is an object of style, fashion, or luxury.
Mm,
I mean, I'm no one to really force anybody to adopt a different lifestyle, but if you enjoy leather, take the time to sort of ask yourself, or at least be aware of where it comes from and what the process is. And I think
mhm,
um, if if you know that and you research that and you're okay with it, great. You know what?
mhm,
If you're let's be simple. Anything and everything we do as human beings on this planet today is pretty self-serving and selfish, right?
mhm.
I'm not going to be a preacher over here and say, hey, you know what? I'm living a very altruistic life and I'm not impacting anybody. I'm aware. I'm aware that to sort of forward our own interests, someone else
Mhm,
has to be left behind. But
mhm.
all I'm asking is that for us to be conscious. So
Yeah,
if I eat pulses, or if I eat rice, or if I eat barley, I need to be very aware of how the entire supply chain is. I'm not saying participate in it, but I'm saying be aware of it. Ask your shopkeeper where he sources it from. Ask him if
yeah,
he's paying a fair price to the farmer. Ask, if possible, get in touch with the farmer or try to visit the farm if it's close by and
yeah.
see what kind of practices are being involved. If the farmer is using certain to sort of get a better yield. I'm just saying be a little more conscious in the process
Mhm.
because being conscious brings awareness, and I think that's only fair, right?
And I think, yeah, I think that's why recently the whole free range aspect of livestock and buying meat from people who only
Yeah.
like get it from or source it from places that like keep these animals free, and like give them a fulfilling life before they actually like ending it, and
Mm.
basically making these cuts and all those things.
Yeah.
Like the whole free range aspect is becoming more and more popular now because of that. And I think the best example in this matter comes from the Japanese Wagyu A5 beef, which is
Oh, what's that? I've never heard of that before.
you've never heard of Japanese Wagyu A5 beef. It's the apparently the best beef in the world, like ever, kind of thing.
Okay, so like disclaimer, I've never eaten beef in my life, but okay, so
I mean,
wow, best quality beef comes from Japan. Nice.
I'm a vegetarian, so I just know about this
Ooh,
because of
got a
like
badass in here. Did
uh,
anime play a part in this?
no, not anime. This is because I watch a lot of tasty video, like Tasty, the company Tasty, BuzzFeed, if you know about it, or if you've ever heard of Bon Appetit, all these kind of companies. These guys are like
Yes, yes.
cooking or food based shows that you can watch on YouTube and all those kind of things.
Yes, I
So
have.
because of
Hmm.
forever whole scene, I like the idea and the whole process of food. So um, I'm all up for it. So like from what I saw was Japanese people in general, like the way they treat their cows, or rather the like the cattle. They'll generally give them massages. They'll treat them like they are kings themselves. Like the cattle itself is like living a very happy life, a fulfilling life before they are killed. So it's the whole idea is like the whole meat inside that cow, the food that they've eaten and everything, like the way they are living, develops in such a way that the taste like enhances after a point. So in a way, the free range is actually making it better in
Yeah.
some ways. And just because you can have a mass production thing and artificially do it and make more and more, doesn't mean the quality will be good. In this case, like the complete opposite thing is right, where these cows are treated gently. They are brought up for their whole life, and finally at the end, like they're killed. And at that point, the meat has developed to a level that people say is the best in the world. And that's a very good example to get out there, right? Like, think about, like, if the best meat is because of that, why don't others do it? And why, treat these animals in such a harsh way, or keep them in such harsh conditions in
I
general?
mean, you're absolutely right, man. And I don't want to get into too many specifics, but the opposite of free range is actually pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to call out anything, but if you want to really research more into this, look at the concept of battery chicken and battery eggs, and then look up at cow farms and just that's a lot of I want to say unethical, but
Right.
I won't use the word because we generally use ethics in the context of humans,
Right.
and we don't do a good job at that too. So when you talk about animals, there are anyways very few animal protection laws. I mean, at least in a country like India, there are a few set of regulations out there, but they aren't really enforced. I'm sure some parts of the world have the same story, and some parts are really pro protecting animals, but for the larger part, no one really gives too much of a hoot about animal protection laws. So the opposite of free range is pretty
I mean, to
gruesome.
be fair, there is like the whole cow protection thing in India, which is
Oh yeah. Oh,
pretty
not
strong.
going there.
No, I mean,
In
like,
case
since you
you're
said
in,
since you said there aren't any,
yeah. Oh my
I'm
God,
gonna
I just
counter
got the chills.
by
I
saying, like,
just
there
got the
is that.
chills. Like
You
wrong
should,
topic alert.
yeah. We can't. I mean, even though we aren't gonna talk about it, like, it is a
Ah.
thing. It is a thing. So
Oh my God, you know what? I had my eyes shut and I was talking and you mentioned it. Suddenly my eyes opened like, wait, am I gonna get beaten up soon or anything? Uh,
uh,
yeah,
I
no. So we're
mean,
not going there at all.
yeah,
But yeah, to sort of break that bubble, India is one of I'll mention this source to anyone who's interested a little later.
right.
But India is actually one of the top beef exporting countries in the world. Yeah. So
You're
sorry.
kidding.
Yep.
No
No, I'm not.
way.
Totally no. So there's a
Wow.
little bit of irony here at play, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a different podcast from a different channel because we will never talk.
Yeah, we aren't gonna get.
Yeah, we will probably make an alternative channel with
Yeah.
like sheeples spelled backwards and under a bedsheet and a torch and talk about all of the
Sell heaps. Sell
anti-establishment
peas
things.
or some shit like that. It'll be called.
Yeah, no, no, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Anyway.
basically, coming back to food preferences,
Yeah.
I think my beef, pun intended, my beef is really with the fact that sorry, pun not intended, because my beef. Just take my
just
pun back.
just 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 go for it. Say what you were saying.
Fun वापस आओ. So
Ah.
the idea is where I am right now in my life. I think my problem is with the whole bread for slaughter angle.
Yeah.
There is a fair chance that if I go out and I get a chicken burger or I get some hot wings or I get some tandoori chicken, oh my God, I fucking miss it so much. But yeah, in case I get, as y'all
The
can clearly
dilemma is
see,
strong.
it's been 7 years since I've eaten. No, wait, probably less than that, but I still miss it so much. Like every time I talk about chicken, my taste buds go into like and there's like a siren wailing around. But yeah, so the idea is that I hate the fact that what I'm about to eat is bred for slaughter. If I could find a source that is offering me meat where it spent its life in the open and did all the stuff it would have done otherwise, and then probably it was killed to come into my plate, I'll be okay with that. But I guess still I find that because there's a lot of shadiness that goes on with free range too. I mean, in case you didn't know, people do all sort of freaking shady things. Like, so free range, at least for let's say free range chicken or free range eggs, free range exists mostly for eggs in India at least, is supposed to be where the chicken sort of lives a very open life on the farm. It isn't restricted from moving anywhere, eats bugs and grass and all the regular things a chicken would eat, and then it lays eggs. It's not forced to or anything. Like, that's supposed to be free range. But you have people out there who are doing shady things like confining chicken to just a slightly bigger space. Um, rather than just
I
yeah.
mean, I think for a good like 4 minutes or 3 minutes, I wasn't in this conversation because my connection completely
Wow.
left. I don't know what you were speaking about at all, and I don't
Sorry,
know if anything was
guys.
recorded.
We
Uh,
got COVID-19 to blame for our.
no, I mean I have my connection to blame because you guys kind of messed it up. It's not working, so I'm on my hotspot now, Wi-Fi
Ah,
hotspot,
guys.
for the time being. But
Yes. Sorry,
just
Sheeples. We had a little bit of.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think what I was, I'll just summarize it. What I was trying to say is free range isn't free range either, guys. Sheeples. Don't trust those
You
labels
also,
because
yeah.
don't trust those labels because people do really shady things to supplement that. Because look at the difference. Like at least in India, I mean,
Mhm.
12 eggs cost something like $50 on an average. Um,
Right.
but free range eggs, six free range eggs cost $120.
Oh
That's
wow.
240 for a dozen, and 240 and 50 is more than four times the price. So you see people doing a lot of shady stuff to get those kind of labels as well. And I think after a lot of experimenting with food and a lot of ethical conundrums and debates, I
Mhm.
think I have realized at the end of it is that you want to eat something, just eat it, man.
Right.
Because there's a good chance that whatever you believe about it, someone's found a loophole to sort of
Mhm.
break and shatter your illusion.
Mhm.
And it's really tough to sort of live your life by a label. What
Mhm.
if you wake up tomorrow and you change? I mean, you just can't force yourself to be a vegetarian or a vegan or
Yeah.
that's who you've been all your life, right? What if you want to do something different tomorrow?
Right.
I think everyone should have that liberty to really.
And I think the biggest thing I've seen, like one person I've seen change their whole stance on this a lot is Z. Like genuinely, I don't know the amount in the last 2 years itself, because that's the only time I've known you. it's, it's, has been like you thinking about, oh, should I quit this or should I start eating this or should I leave this? And I know that I like from your voice, I get the whole feeling of you really 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 like the whole, like you got so excited about tandoori chicken and just like the chicken aspect of it all. And I know that you really miss it, but when you're forcing yourself to not do something, I don't think you're being fair to yourself in that matter either.
Um, so yeah, I mean that's why I love tandoori chicken, but I don't eat it because I am an idiot who thinks. Uh, but if you've eaten tandoori chicken out there, oh my God, send me some photos because I really want to look at some tandoori chicken. Send us some nice photos.
uh,
If you've become quite the chef at home, making a lot of
yeah,
stuff,
yeah, right.
cooking a lot of stuff. We love to see that food porn.
The food porn for sure. I mean, there
Dude,
are
so
some.
so what about you? Do you
Uh,
ever think like
uh,
I'll respect your beliefs, and I won't really ask you to really justify them. But all I'll ask is, do you think you'd be okay with switching them, or do you think you'd want to be where you are
see,
and you'd really make sure that
I'm
you're
for the time being, I'm happy where I am.
okay?
I mean, I do wonder at times, like what the other side might be like.
Hmm.
But it hasn't ever enticed me enough to be like, yeah, I want to go for it or I have to try it, kind of thing.
I
Like
respect that.
the day I genuinely feel like, no, I have to do it, is I think is the day I will actually try it. But for the time being, like it never come to my head. I'm quite happy, like trying out things within like this in the whole vegetarian genre, because I used to be very picky as a kid. I used to be very, very, very picky. Like I ate only like these few items of food, and that was it. Like there was not going above or below that. Like it had to be just that. And I think changing that to like where I am now, where I'm so happy to try so many different things. I wanna expand my palate. I wanna eat like all the different things. So at first, like personally, I'd like to try all these different things within my vegetarian area. Like as much as we don't want to put a label on it, it is a type of food, right? So like when I speak about
Yeah.
the whole vegetarian aspect, like I first want to try out this whole area, like what all is available within this and what all can I try here. And the day I'm like, you know what, I do want to experiment with this, and I want to see if I, have a taste for it or not, or if I like it or not, that's the day I'll you will be the first to know,
Sure.
Z. Like, I'll tell you, like, dude, I have to do this. Let's go
You gotta
somewhere.
let me know, man.
We'll definitely. I mean, hopefully by then the lockdown will be over, but we'll go somewhere at that time.
Yeah, we will do that. We will do that, man. And I mean, to all,
uh,
to all of
can you
you
can you
listening
repeat
out
that?
there, I mean,
Can you
also,
repeat that? I think your voice cut off again.
yeah. So to
Uh,
everyone who's listening out there, I also want you to remember, and probably you're like me and you have a hard time justifying what you're eating, or maybe you're coming from a different line of thought. But I really want you to remember that all of these are pretty much man-made, human-made, right? These are labels that sheeples like you and I have come up with, and the only
yeah.
reason why some of them have become pop is because there are a lot of people subscribing to that ideology.
Hmm.
Just remember that you can probably be your own kind of food ideology. If everything else was made by someone like you and just required a crowd to participate in it to validate its existence, I mean, you're free to create your own stuff. Like it really doesn't have to be something that beats you too hard over it. I mean, you don't have to spend too many sleepless nights. If you love something, you eat it, and probably you don't love it the next day, and you don't. Like at least from where I'm coming from, I don't think it's necessary at all to be who you were yesterday, uh, and be that same person today, and be that same person tomorrow. You I think you should change. You can change, and that's just me. I mean, don't.
My God, like, dude,
Yeah,
your whole speech right now was cut off so many times because of this bad connection. We really apologize, like, if everything is, kind of muddled here and there
yeah,
right
I
now.
know, I'm sorry. But you know what? I think what we're using is the app is probably recording stuff from both our ends. So maybe we couldn't hear what the other person was saying, but
Yeah.
hopefully at least the audio file at the end will have everything, right? I think that's a good
I'm
chance.
I'm I'm hoping that's the case, but
Yeah, otherwise you
today's
missed.
session
Otherwise
today,
y'all
yeah.
missed such a philosophical speech. But I think
I mean, I did. I know I
you
did. Like,
did.
it was getting cut off at points. I was like, I don't know what to say now. I
Yeah,
can't.
just like
I'd rather not stop.
waiting that this too shall
Yeah,
pass.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I
Uh,
think I think this was a short. I've said all that I really had it. I'm gonna keep you all updated. Maybe if I decide to eat it someday, I will definitely put up photos, and I really won't be ashamed. If I want to eat
yeah.
something, like in a
I mean, you
world like
shouldn't be. At the end of the
yeah,
day, why should you be ashamed of
yeah, right?
what you want
Because
to eat, right?
because if you look at it, my fellow foodie, everything that we do in the world on some level is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like like if you really try to attach the right and wrong label to it, everything is wrong because everything that you do comes at the cost of something else. Your
At the
life,
yeah. To be fair,
like just the fact that we
we
have
are kind
electricity
of,
today, just the fact
yeah.
that we have electricity and internet today, there is somebody who's probably working in a factory on the outskirts of the city to make sure that we got this. So that person's put themselves at the risk of the virus, has traveled to the workplace, and is putting in hard work and is getting tired. That we have this ability. I mean, something as basic as electricity that so many of us don't even think about.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at it that way, everything that we do that benefits us usually comes at the cost of sort of taking that benefit away from someone else. So if
Hmm.
everything's wrong, nothing is wrong, right?
Yeah, you sound like Syndrome from Incredibles. Like, if everyone's a superhero, then no one will be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
see,
There
see,
you go. There you go. That's
that's
exactly what I was saying.
that's basically like, yeah. But you know what? That is the case, right? Like, as much as we keep talking about, like, oh, this is wrong or that is wrong, at some point or the other, we ourselves are doing something that's wrong, and that's taking something away from someone else. And at this moment, like, we also kind of need to like, realize that that's the case. And you know what, like, there are things that will always take precedence in this matter, that okay, there are things we need to stop no matter what, because that kind of area comes up, that like what is wrong is wrong. But when it comes to food, like why do we have to be like, no, no, you can't do this or you can't do that? Like let people be themselves, and let like, eat the food you want to eat and do you kind of thing, right? Like why does it matter?
True. 100% true. Wow,
And
this was a good one. It feels nice to get that off my chest. But yeah,
yeah, man.
what did all of y'all think, fellow sheeples? If
Yeah, what do you guys have,
yeah,
like in your daily dietary preference? Do you think about this topic a lot, or is it something that keeps you up?
yeah, all have you never thought about it, and maybe listening to this
Yeah,
sort of made me ponder a little. And you know what? If you think I'm a hypocrite, feel free to call me out, because like I said, deep down, I know that I am everything you.
voice cut off
We'll
again.
try to have a mature discussion about it. But if you think my logic is flawed and you have a better perspective, feel free, because you know what,
Uh,
we're never too old to learn. Yeah.
yeah, you let us know. Like we would love to hear what you really like, want to say about this particular topic. And I think the best ways you can reach out to us are through platforms like Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, where you can find us in the by the name of Sheeples People, or the Sheeples Podcast, which is on Reddit. And yeah, like let us hear your thoughts. We would love to have a proper discussion with you, have like your ideologies, hear you out, and kind of try to learn more from that. And maybe we can teach each other and kind of get each other's perspectives. That's what our community is about, right? At the end of the day.
Exactly. And if you know someone who's struggling with their food preferences, or who was a non-vegetarian and is a vegetarian, whole bunch of other things the other way around, give them the link to this, sort of tag them, and let them know they can listen to this. Maybe listening to that might help them out. Maybe it might show them that what they're thinking is probably a little backward, or
Yeah.
backward in the sense that maybe they're as stuck as I am, and maybe this will help them out. So
And yeah, like
definitely.
if you yourself are having an like dilemma of your own,
Yeah.
like just you can just put this on and think about your own like ideology behind it. Like the way we said, like the whole point of looking into what kind of meat is being sold, or what kind of food that you're buying, where does it come from, or what is the source, is an important way to kind of take that step towards maybe have like not having these animals being treated cruelly. Because the less you support the people who are treating them cruelly, like the less that will happen. And maybe like things can change in that way. It's the smaller things that we can do from our side, right?
Yeah.
If you completely don't want to leave non-vegetarianism in that sense.
And keep in mind, non-veg is a lazy word. As a
Yeah,
community, come together
it
and
really
come up
is.
with a better freaking word. Like seriously,
Or
what is
rather, let's not
non-veg?
have those labels then.
Oh yeah, sorry. Wow, such an ass. Such an
See,
ass. Let's
the
not have that label.
hypocrisy. The
The
hypocrisy is
hypocrisy.
strong.
The hip hopcracy. Because there's the.
My God. But yeah, anyway, I think this was a good one. I think this is a good place to end it, right?
Yeah, and don't forget, Sheeples is a community. And during this time
Uh,
of COVID-19, we're to reach out to people who are probably away from family, or who are home but don't feel quite like it. So keep in mind that the more people you tell about Sheeples, the more people that you're helping out, because loneliness is a bigger pandemic than COVID-19. So, just let people know that they can just tune into a bunch of friends
I
and just,
mean, at the end of the day, yeah, we are all just here for each other, and
yeah,
let's if someone is genuinely lonely, like we would love to just be there and have a chat with them as well. Like if they
yeah,
need
let's
someone to
create a more happy
speak to.
internet, and let's not get
Yeah,
too bogged down by conventional media, and let's try
yeah.
to look at this as something that helps us feel better. This certainly helps me, and this is Z signing out. I hope to see everyone very soon. Bye bye.
And this is Foodie Lover signing out, or Foodie Forever signing out.
Foodie lover
Uh,
boy.
yeah. Anyway, but I
Oh
shall
wait, I
sign out
signed
as
out. I
well.
wasn't supposed to say anything. Shh.
Yeah. Oh, see, Z's still here. He's not leaving you guys. See, I'm not
Bye.
leaving you guys. We should by now.
Yeah,
Let's
we
do
should.
it.
Like these buys have
Bye.
got to. Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Oh, sorry, sheeples.
Cheapers. Bye.